Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 50. That's 50 of Around the Kingdom, a Disney Magic Kingdoms podcast by a guy who enjoys a nice hot cup of cocoa. Coming to you from Santa Cecilia, Mexico, I am your host, Steve Squirrel, and back on the show today is our good friend, Daniel Guizar.
Hi, guys.
So
Nice seeing
happy,
you.
yeah, so happy to have Daniel back. It's been way too long. Daniel, you're such an awesome guest. I'm so happy to have you, so thank you. And I want to say thank you to each and every one of you out there for joining us this week as we explore the wonderful world of Disney Magic Kingdoms. Before we get started, I want to thank our Patreons. And a big special thank you to all of our Patreons. Of course, Carrie Schumann, Kathy Clausen, Honeybee, Kira, Tom Higgins, Patricia Baisden, and Brianne Duke. If you don't know what Patreon is, it's a site where you can pledge a few bucks each month to help support the show. So if you're able to and want to help support the show, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/AroundTheKingdom. There are other ways you can be involved with the show. Also, you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. We have a very active Facebook group, and it's a great way to stay in touch with me and the community of the show. We also have a Discord channel where you can chat with me and other members of the community, so come join us. The links to everything will be in the show notes and can also be found in the show's main Facebook page. The kingdom is always changing, so for reference, this show is being recorded on Tuesday, October 15th at around 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. All right, that's it. Intro out of the way. Episode 50 is on the way. We're getting going. So, Daniel, tell me, what's been going on with you in your week in the kingdom?
Mainly it's just been leveling up the characters. And these past few weeks I've been maxing out characters. I maxed out quite a bit. I actually been Huey, Dewey, Louie, and Scrooge McDuck. They're all maxed out to a 10. I have the only Nemo characters that I have maxed out are Nemo and Crush. They were easy, so I just want to get those out of the way. So now I can focus on the other Nemo characters because they are like between 7 and 8. I haven't really paid much attention to them as much because I've been focusing on other stuff that's been going on, like the tower challenge, the finding the whatchamacall, the comfy costumes and all those other things. And I also had I even maxed out Raja.
Oh, wow. That's a good max out.
Yeah, he was a hard one, dude. He was a pain in the butt.
Yeah, those tokens are hard. The epic ones sometimes are harder than the legendaries.
They're just so difficult. And they drop slow. They're like literally they don't drop right away. They take time for them to drop. Especially even if you're never to drop. Do whatever I could to get all those out of the way. Not to mention those relics help a chunk. And I also I even maxed out the hyenas, which weren't too hard actually. They were pretty simple. To max out.
Yeah, I found the hyenas not too difficult. They kind of just easily flow. There's so many people to help, There's just so many characters, so you have a lot of people going and collecting tokens fast.
Yeah, the only ones I have to worry about is the prince and Finding Nemo. Mainly them. Oh, and Pascal as well. Okay. Pascal, I have him at a level 8.
That's good. Awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Great. So that sounds like it's been a good week for you.
Yep.
Yeah, for me, so last episode, I reported that my main storyline was over, and guess what? I was wrong. I guess I just missed the little kingdom quest thing in the corner. I did have 2 more little quests for the kingdom to go, so I have completed the Tangle storyline, and now I am done, and this time I am definitely done with all of my kingdom quests. So I'm definitely ready and excited for the next step and the next kingdom quest to come. So hopefully that'll be soon. For building upgrades, I was finally able to enchant the Snuggly Duckling. I had 4 out of 5 token relics, tangled relics for so long. And I just could not get that last one to drop. Finally got it to drop, and so I enchanted that. So now I can get Pascal's dress as a drop from the Snuggly Duckling, which is great. Definitely looking forward to enchanting that to the next level so I could start getting Pascal ears to drop as well. So that's what I'm really excited about. I have just a few more relics I need for the Wreck-It Ralph to get the princess dressing room to 3. Or actually, yeah, no, I guess to 2. I've only enchanted it once, so it would go to level 2. So I'm a long ways off from getting it to where I need to get all the princesses in there. So it's just going to be saving Ralph tokens. It's frustrating because, we talked about it last episode, but every time that more stuff becomes enchantable, which is, of course, this is the reason why they did it in slow increments, but every time it becomes more enchantable, you have a bigger pool of tokens that you're trying to get stuff out of,
Yep.
So, like here's where I think if they could change something, it would be good. Where right now, you were able to continue collecting token relics and common tokens for the buildings, right? It seems like in this patch, and there's either a bug or something was intentional, because everyone who was still collecting tokens for buildings no longer needed to collect them for specifically Rapunzel and Nemo. So in case you didn't notice, why you're not collecting Nemo tokens anymore, it's not because you've suddenly just maxed them out. It's because they just, something's changed in this patch. So maybe you have to enchant something, and then it will you'll act like like you're leveling up, where you enchant something, and then as you need the tokens, you'll start getting them. I think the same thing should apply for relics. I don't think that you should be collecting relics all the way until you're completely maxed out. Just like and the reason for that is because there's so many Mickey and Friends attractions that you can enchant, and you need hundreds to get each to the next level, So we're not going to get rid of Mickey and Friends relics from chests for a long time. So now, it was hard getting Wreck-It Ralph tokens. It was hard getting Tangled relics. And now you're adding in, you're adding in all these new ones that we're going to talk about in a few minutes. But there's like Coco, Dumbo, Wreck-It Ralph, Alice in Wonderland, Nightmare Before Christmas, and DuckTales. All their relics are added into the game. Now, I noticed, again, just to go with what we were talking about with them, is that as soon as the patch hit, I needed to collect common tokens for all of those different attractions. And I collected them, but then once I collected a bunch of them, it stopped. So I do believe that either it was on purpose or an accident that now you're going to be no longer collecting tokens unless you actually need them, as opposed to just endlessly collecting them until you've maxed out. So, but that being said, I think, like I said, the same thing should apply, I think, for relics, because it's so hard to get Wreck-It Ralph or the ones you need. I don't need Mickey and Friends, right? I don't need any of them, right?
No.
So now I'm just going to stare at the little icons above the attractions the whole time, which is a giant eyesore, which I've complained about before. But now I can't get the ones that I need. I want to be able to get Coco relics or even Nemo relics. Nemo relics would be very, very useful for me right now. Because all my Nemo characters, I need to still collect tokens for them. I feel like by the time you collect enough relics to actually enchant your stuff, you're already going to be at the point where you don't need the items from it anymore.
No.
So I think that something needs to be reevaluated. They talked about the balancing changes where they're going to need, things, So we're jumping around a lot today, but there's a lot to talk about. So in the live stream, one of the things that was discussed was balancing changes, not to characters this time, but to attractions and why they do it. And really what it came down to was, during the event, they make it easier they make it easier to enchant attractions. And after the event, they want to kind of balance it out and make it like everything else. And they do that so that during the event, it can kind of flow with the event. And I get that.
Right.
And I have no problem with them balancing it out like that. But I wish that getting the tokens or the relics would be easier. Because, like I said, Mickey and Friends, Toy Story, I don't need any of them. So if I have them all maxed out, at the level they need to go to, and then I could start getting the Nemo and the other relics that I need, Peter Pan and Tangled, all these ones, and now Coco, and now they're going to start putting out ones that are more late game, right? So DuckTales, we all need DuckTales stuff. Dumbo, we all need, not all, but people need that stuff. That's late game stuff, So, but it's going to be so hard to get. So that's my little thought about all the relic stuff. What do you think about that, Daniel? What are your thoughts on how the relics are now, and how they drop? What do you think?
I think it is complicated. It is a lot harder than it looks to get these relics and these all these enchantments you have to do to these buildings. It's kind of frustrating in some ways because, like for example, I already have the Princess Dressing Room to level 3 because I had to open those chests, mainly the attraction chests, the enchantment chests, and it's very frustrating because I just need the Wreck-It Ralph, and they're common, mind you. They're common tokens, and the problem is sometimes I end up getting other stuff. I've been getting Tangled. I've been getting Mickey and Friends. I've been getting some Toy Story, which I don't need also. And those Pixar balls, they're annoying. And the balloons on top of that, they were so annoying to pick. Because I thought I would be done with those by now, but they just keep coming. They just keep coming and coming and coming, and it's like ugh. And then when what's it called? When they started adding more relic pieces for other attractions like Peter Pan, Pirates of the Caribbean, what was another one? Oh, Cinderella, and even the Space Traders. All of those were I was collecting tokens for Wally. I was collecting tokens for Pirates. I was collecting for all those. But you know what? They were easy to get rid of because Peter Pan was only like 600 and something tokens of the common.
Right. Sure.
And then they weren't collected.
Right.
Yeah, when you get to like Mickey and Friends and Toy Story, why am I still collecting these?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, why am I still collecting these things?
Yeah.
It's just a total waste.
Sure. So, and I get that if the change was intentional, I like the fact that they made it the way it is, where you'll stop collecting until you enchant something and you actually need them, right? Like I like that.
Yeah.
But they need to do the same for the regular relics, just like the common tokens, because it's just I like the idea of enchanting attractions. I really do. I think it's a great idea. I think it adds another element to the game. I think it's fun, but I think it gets very frustrating. Yeah. It just gets frustrating. So
it does. But you know what I think they should do? One of the things I think they should do to even it out, if they really want a certain collection or something, they should put all the common stuff together, put all the rare, epic, and the stuff, keep them in categories. Maybe they should do it in that form for those that we do really need.
Okay.
But I don't know how they would implement that.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not.
But
because it's very complex. It's very complex the way how they're doing it, because that's what frustrates people, because the way they say, "Oh, I'm not a big fan of the enchantment," and on top of that, people are not a big fan of the thrill zone. Well, I'm not personally. I'm not a big fan of those thrill zones myself, because it kind of interferes with you. They're kind of making you put decorations in the in your park, and you really don't want, like I said, like they want you to put a bush and stuff like that. I don't want to put a bush there. What if I don't want one there? I would prefer concessions instead. Care stuff what they want me to put. I'm gonna put what I want.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. But all right. Cool. Let's move on here. A lot about the attractions. I think it's a hot topic. I think that a lot of people have been talking about it. You know, Alicia in the chat says that the Mickey balloons are conflict with the BattleBot controller drops. So like that really stinks, right? You know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only 60 seconds, but hey, that's every minute, you know, and you're just sitting there staring at it, and then it's Mickey balloon instead of, you know, controller drop. You know, and they purposely try to make that easy. So I don't know. There's a lot.
That now that you mentioned it, I didn't get any Mickey balloons when I was doing the battle bots because I was sending Mickey, Pluto, Pete, and even Goofy. They were all 60 seconds, and I didn't get any conflicts with the balloon. Maybe I maxed it out
Yeah, you
for
must have.
getting so many.
Yeah, you must have maxed
Yeah,
them out.
yeah.
But all
I
right,
don't even know how many were there.
all right. So leveling. This week. Okay, so this leveling. Our week in the kingdom is like 15 different things today. So, pardon the rambling. So this is going to be a leveling / newcomer tip of the week. I like to cover this before events. Hopefully, you're going to listen to this before the event starts. But I like to just go over this. And if there's new listeners, old listeners, you've heard me ramble about this before. New listeners, listen up. So the last 2 weeks, I've been very, very busy leveling characters. Like I mentioned last episode, I was working on characters that had legendary and epic tokens. Since then, I had a lot of time, you know, before this event was going to be coming. So I went to my character groups and I found the characters that were going to be like the hardest to level, and would take the most time to collect their tokens. So for example, Cricky, Tiana, Christopher Robin, Gaston, all of those characters, you know, have very hard drops. So I leveled them all up because I knew I had time. You know, I had weeks before the next event was going to start. So, you know, that was toward the end of the tower challenge. I started doing that, and for the last, 2 weeks or so. Once we started getting the teasers for the next event, once we knew that the event was on the horizon and that things were coming and that we'd be seeing a live stream, you know that the end is in sight. You know that the event is coming soon, and to expect it, right? Typically,
Right.
for the most part, on a Friday, if you're having a live stream, that following Thursday, you're going to have the new event start. So,
Right.
so at that point, what I did was I wanted to make sure I started wrapping up those characters. I wanted to just keep focusing on them. I didn't want to level anyone else in their group because I just wanted to make sure there were no conflicts. And then
Right.
I continued leveling, but I leveled characters that had common and uncommon tokens as their drops, because I knew I could finish them much quicker. For if you level Tiana to 8, her drops, since they're epic, could take you many days. But if you're leveling Nemo or Ralph to 8, you can finish that off very quickly. Because you're pretty much gonna get the drop almost every time, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So that's my strategy. So I started leveling characters with common and uncommon tokens so that I knew I could finish them up quicker and have them in my mind. I knew how long it would take and have them completed before the event begins. The reason that I do this, you're saying, why would you do this? Why do you want everyone all wrapped up when the event begins? My strategy going into an event is to have all of my characters done with the tokens that they're collecting. And
Right.
when they're done collecting tokens and they have nothing else to do, I send them home. Why do I do this? Okay, I want to minimize the risk of any conflicts. As soon as the event begins, we're going to get a character, and that character will need to get to the next level. and you're going to need to collect tokens for them. And if you have other characters that need to be collecting their tokens and they have a conflict, it's going to take you longer to get the tokens you need for the new characters in the event. The longer it takes you to get these levels, and the longer it takes you to get these characters leveled up, the longer it's going to take you to get to each milestone in the event, and you're going to fall behind. So if you want to really stay on top of things, don't have token conflicts. And so that's why I try to have everyone wrapped up and have no one collecting tokens, so that when I go into the event, I know that I'm going to be able to go ahead and not have any conflicts. Once we get the information on who is safe to level, okay, so we'll find out pretty quickly, who are the people that don't have token conflicts. Those guides usually come out very quickly. We usually get something posted on our main Facebook page, either myself or Allison. Allison's amazing at getting the conflict guides up, so thank you. Big shout out to Allison for that. Go to Daniel's site. These token conflict guides come up, so you know who's safe to level. Okay, so because you shouldn't stop leveling, you want to make sure that your leveling isn't going to interfere with anyone that you need to level, but you want to kind of keep putting a character in and keeping them leveled. So
you have to strategize.
Yes, it's a strategy, and you have to think about it. Once we get the information, we'll put it out as soon as we can. I choose people who I think I can level, and I can have them complete before the next chapter begins, so I won't have the conflicts. So again, for me, this isn't the time where I want to be leveling Cricky, right? I don't want to have a character that's going to it's going to take me 2 weeks to level, and I don't know if there's going to be future conflicts, right? So this is when you have your Ralphs and your Nemos and, your Shanks, things that are common, uncommon, even some rare, depending on how much time you have. But that's kind of my strategy. Big thing. Don't have an oops, I did it again segment at your own home. Do not have anyone leveling when the event begins.
Yeah. Especially 24 hours.
I've sent Elastigirl once, and I forgot who the second person was, out for 24 hours, an hour before the event began. So, needless to say, a lot of gems later, I continued on with the event. So don't do that. Don't have anyone leveling when the event begins. Or you could use character scrolls, I guess, if you mess up. That's my new backup plan. Have character scrolls.
Those have been really helpful.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. If I may add, if you're trying to rearrange your park, make sure you don't send your characters to 24 hours, or otherwise you're gonna wait another day.
If you're clicking something, just be careful with that, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see what's going on. So that's my newcomer tip of the week. Any other advice you have about that, Daniel?
About leveling up characters, you mean?
Just like, what's your strategy going into an event? As far as token conflicts or anything of that nature.
That was kind of my tip of the week, newcomer tip of the week in some ways, because I was going to say that regardless who the characters are, doesn't matter who they are, you should always get them regardless, because sooner or later they're going to be used at some point, especially when events like tower challenges, for example, because in tower challenges, eventually they're all going to be used at some point. Like, for example, Bambi hasn't been used yet, but don't lose track on those guys, because more likely they might be used in certain future challenges. I'm not saying they are, but they could be used also. There's other characters from like say, for example, Alice in Wonderland is going to be used for Coco. Make sure you get those characters up, because there's the ones that are going to be used. They're going to be helpful. Because I remember one time I was leveling I was doing an event, and the Beauty and the Beast were helping. I don't remember what event it was, but I remember back that I had to. Gaston was able to collect tokens. At the time, I had him like at a 7, I think. And turns out for him to collect currency, he had to be at level 9.
That's high.
I'm serious. I'm not kidding. He had to be like a 9. And I was like, oh no, man, there goes one character I couldn't do it. But that was early on. That was like way early on at the time because yeah, that's why I'm saying sometimes it's good to level them up because you don't know if they're gonna need to be leveled, especially the common ones. Like say Alice, for example, or maybe the Mad Hatter, the March Hare.
Yeah. Yep.
Those type of characters. But yeah, like I said, it's best not to miss out on an event because if you miss out on an event, what's gonna happen? And then another event comes and they need to be used.
Absolutely.
You're gonna miss them out. And that's why it's important to get those characters, to level them up, for regardless if it's an event or it's a tower challenge.
Yep. There's always going to be helpers for something.
Yeah, there's always somebody.
And so, yeah, I couldn't agree more. All right, so there's our newcomer newcomer tip of the week inside of our week in the game. It's been a very eclectic start to the show. Finally, my lifetime visitors board. I'm at rank 60,169. I'm looking to break into the top 60,000. So very excited about that. Do you know your number off the top of your head, or do you have it handy?
Yeah, I know what it is.
What is it?
104 million over 104 million.
Well, what's your rank when you click on it? What's the rank? Yeah.
I don't remember honestly. I don't remember.
All right,
but I know it's in the top 100 for sure. In the top 100.
Top 100. Wow. Holy moly.
Yeah.
Daniel, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right. Well, that wraps up our week in the game. So awesome stuff there. I have to go ahead and plug in my laptop because guess what I forgot to do? Plug in my laptop.
Your battery's dead.
Yeah, so let's not lose the show because I don't know how to run one. There we go. Power. Awesome. All right, moving on with the show. All right, into the game news. All right, so actually, I'm sorry. So let's go into the show news. Well, here's a little bit of sad news. To celebrate our 1-year anniversary, we announced the contest on last week's episode to be a reviewer of one of the first 3 episodes of the show. The 2 best entries were going to get a $10 gift card to the platform of their choosing. Apparently, we do not have any journalists that listen to our show because we did not have any entries into our contest.
Ouch.
Yeah. So no one likes to review stuff. I thought it would be fun. I thought it would be a nice, different kind of thing. So anyway, what we'll be doing is I will be posting another social media type contest in our Facebook group soon. If Daniel will allow, we'll share it into the Disney Magical Kingdoms group. So that people in the Around the Kingdom group and the Disney Magical Kingdoms Champions group will exclusively have a chance to win 2 $10 gift cards. And it will just be something simple like tweeting or liking a Facebook page or making a post in a group or, where you get points and then it raffles it off, a random person wins. We'll do something easy so that people don't have to be journalists and write a review. If you have any ideas for what would be a fun kind of giveaway, write the show and let us know. Because we're always looking for good ideas for something that people would love to do.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I just figured out my
I'm sorry.
It's 150.
Your rank is 150?
Yeah, it's 150.
No, not top 100. Come on, Daniel.
Oh well.
Yeah. All right.
I'll get there.
Let's move on into the game news. So before we get into what everyone wants to talk about, Let's just wrap up the Snow White Tower Challenge because it's been a little bit. The end of the Snow White Tower Challenge. Of course, you got Prince Charming. We already talked about that. I did as well.
Yeah.
And Snow White's comfy costume. I assume you got that as well.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
what were your thoughts on the overall difficulty of the event? The flow, like kind of give me a wrap up of what you thought about the Tower Challenge.
the Tower Challenge overall was fun. It was well paced and everything. It wasn't that difficult. The only difficulty was the refresh tokens because they were kind of annoying because they wouldn't drop or they would. That's the only thing I don't like about the Tower Challenges, the refresh tokens. I despise those things because every time when I ran out, I have to use gems. And mind you, when you go to 0, it will go to 10 gems. Every time you send a character to face the tower, it's 10 gems. And of course, I had to do that a few times so I can get to the concession stand, the chapter 3 one especially,
You
because
didn't
I wanted
you
to.
didn't have to do it, Daniel.
I did.
You did not because I was able to get the concession stands and I play a lot less than you and my leaderboard wasn't the greatest, but
Yeah.
I got the concession stands and I did not need to gem a single character.
Well,
So
I
you
only
didn't
did it.
need to do it.
I know. I know.
You
That's it.
wanted to do it because you want to get the top of the leaderboard.
No, it's not
But
that.
what is it? Tell me
No,
then.
only reason why, because I wanted to just get out of the way, and I was working too. I just wanted to get it out of the way, and not worry about it.
Okay, there's a difference though between needing to and wanting to because I think that the average player because okay, so here's my take, right? I've gone from someone who was able to check the game every 2 hours because I had a child that woke up every 2 hours to someone
Hmm.
that is trying to play like an average person, right? That's someone
Hmm.
that sleeps 8 hours a night, God willing, if their children actually sleep. That works 8 hours, 5 days a week, and can check my phone sporadically, like every 2 hours maybe. And see how the flow of the game works for someone in that situation, right? Because that's kind of
Yeah.
like the common situation that kind of, the mean of people. So I found that I was able to do this tower challenge. Um, the first 2 chapters relatively easy with no problem.
Yeah.
Granted, my levels are high. Most were all
Mm.
nines and tens, maybe with an 8 scattered in there every now and then.
Hmm.
But I found that the flow was easy enough for someone at my level. Again,
Hmm.
this is for someone who has their characters at the levels I have them at. I
Hmm.
definitely understand if your characters are lower level, it's going to be a much different game.
Yeah.
But I felt like for Tower Challenge, the pace was good. The characters they
Hmm.
offered were good for people that are lower levels. They had good character offerings and good
Yeah.
attraction offerings. They were different attractions this time, right?
Yeah. I think
Uh,
they were different.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
there.
I think even I think Snow White was a little bit affordable. I didn't see it in my game. I saw it in the champion and in the groups because they were all saying that it was like Snow White was like about 12,000.
I thought it was 9,000. Was it
Or
9,000?
I think it was 12,000. I'm not
12,000?
sure.
But still,
Yeah, I think
the
it's still reasonable.
very achievable.
Yes.
So
Uh-huh.
I felt like the pacing was good. Chapter 3 was more difficult. If I didn't have um, a lot of cocoa built up from the first 2 chapters, I would have been in a harder spot. But I
Hmm.
knew that my pace, because it was like 52,000 to get the last concession, so you have to have a little bit over 10,000 a day at 5 days. And my pace going through chapter 1 and chapter 2, I was getting about 9,000 a day, maybe 9 to 10. So I was a little behind pace. So I knew I
Yeah.
really had to to step it up in gear. So what I decided to do was to really not send out like my level 8s and just use Cocos to send out my 10s, instead. So that each time I was going, I was maximizing the total number of points that I could use. So rather than need an additional run, I would use the Cocos during it and kind of maximize each round. So I was able to pull it off. I did. It was I got the concession stand like literally the morning when the tower challenge was going to end, so it was close. But I felt comfortable, like I knew I was on pace, so I wasn't too worried. But it was challenging. So I thought it was good. I felt that from a new player perspective, it offered good stuff. From the middle player perspective, it was good, and from the end game, players, I felt like it provided good stuff too. Plus, you had to get the prince early so that you could start working on the comfy costume stuff. So I think it was well balanced for what it did. It wasn't one of those tower challenges where you felt like it was so extremely difficult. Like, how are you ever going to pull this off? Like the Cricky challenge, I think it was, that was just like insanely difficult.
Because not only do you have to worry about the comfy costume, you also had to worry about the warrior costume that Mulan had also.
Yeah, that was
That was a tough one.
That was a really, really hard. That was definitely the hardest tower challenge I've ever done, or maybe that there ever was. But I thought that was a lesson learned, and I think ever since they've kind of balanced it more appropriately, and so I think that it was a good tower challenge, wrapped up well.
Yeah. I think it was too. Yeah. Oh, and did you get the bundle for Snow White's comfy?
No, I got the fabrics.
Oh, okay.
Did you buy
it? I did, because I was because I wanted to save the glitch fabric, and I mean not the glitch fabric. I mean the glitch token, and and I wanted to save it for Rapunzel, since there was another costume going on.
Right.
I saved it for that one, and then that's why I said I could have done it that way, and could have sent Prince Charming to. Oh, sorry.
No
I could have sent Prince Charming, or to send the comfy fabrics.
Right.
But then I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? Why don't I just get the bundle for Snow White, and save those glitch tokens, and save them for Rapunzel, so they can carry them over.
Sure, but you know what? Like, you already have the princess dressing room at a point where it collects glitched. So you have to know that it wasn't going to be overly difficult. But hey, either way, that's cool. I'm glad you got it. And
because regardless, you're going to need them for Anna and Elsa eventually.
Yes.
Eventually, you're going to need those tokens for those two characters. So that makes me curious if they're going to do the same thing with Anna and Elsa. One will be in a bundle, or getting the comfy fabric, or put them in the mini event like they did with Rapunzel.
Yeah, that's very well could be it. Anna or Elsa's could be the grand prize of the tower challenge, and then the next one can be a mini event, just like they did with Rapunzel. They could just carbon copy that. And
they tend to copy the same route over and over. It's kind of annoying at times.
Yes. When I first started playing, it was very, very copied. And then they've definitely branched out and changed things a bit, but they do reuse some stuff. But I don't think that them reusing this tower challenge format one more time would be problematic. I feel like it was good. It was a good pace, and it was fun. I mean, obviously you don't want the same thing every time, but yeah. Okay, so that's it for the tower challenge. So all right, so now let's talk about Coco. There was an update that dropped this morning, and then this afternoon, and then later this evening.
Oh my god.
So we had a little incident with the patch today.
Oh no.
It seems like there's always a patch problem in some way, shape, or form. Android was to blame last time. I think DMK takes it this time. For iOS, the patch dropped this morning for the new event with all the content. And the patch that was released was let's just, in the nicest way we could put it, let's just call it a developer version um, of the
Of
game.
the game?
Yeah. So it wasn't supposed to be out. So people that downloaded the game might have been able to access the game for just a small period of time. Eventually, they caught on, and they put a complete lock on the game, which I've never seen them do before. A lot of times they'll say, "Hey, why don't you update? A new update's out," and then you could say maybe later. This one was like, you cannot open the game or play at all until you get the new update. But the new
That's
update,
ridiculous.
but there was new update.
Oh.
They actually pulled the whole app from the App Store for several hours today, which is pretty amazing when you think about it. And
It was quite interesting what they did.
yeah,
Because yeah. And the 3.5 years that I played, I have never seen that before in my life.
yeah. So they
I've
actually had to
never seen
pull the game from the App Store because they obviously just didn't want more people downloading it and having problems. It's better to not have it than to have it and cause more problems and get people mad, I guess. I don't know. It was a rock and a hard place. Eventually, though, they did get it fixed. They got the correct version uploaded, and probably around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I think. They
It was like 1 o'clock for me.
so maybe 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, it was up. So it was probably a total of about 8 hours that the game was unplayable on iOS. So
for me, it was unplayable for the whole morning. Actually, the
yeah,
whole morning it was unplayable for me.
yeah. So anyway, long story short, it's fixed. The new version's out. Just a little fun for it. There will be some compensation that will go out to the iOS players. Additionally, iOS players who had all of the fabric for Rapunzel will get the comfy costume if they somehow missed out. They will get it granted to them via the in-game system. So you will not miss out on Rapunzel if you did not level her up yet. And then there's going to be some sort of compensation given out to people just kind of as an I'm sorry. So I would expect to see that tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
how many gems do you think they'll give us?
I don't know. I don't think it's really a gems type of compensation. I feel like it could be maybe a chest, or maybe like a scroll, or something different. I don't know if it's just like here's a bunch of gems.
Well, if it's concession, if it's a competition for chess, then I want the concession chest,
Yes.
so I can get one of those cocos.
Yes, give us concession chests. That would make everyone happy. Or just give everyone one of the new concessions. Why not, right?
Yeah.
No, that would make that would make people really angry on other platforms. So I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah, maybe not.
But all right. Anyway, that was the little drama of the morning. Just thought we'd cover it real quick. Let's get on into the new update that just came out that everyone now has. It is Coco. So excited. They started the teasers. It was just one little piece of stained glass with some music notes on it. But being that it's this time of year, and the music notes, I knew immediately it was Coco. People had their doubts. People were skeptical. I think, Daniel, you were one of those people, right? Didn't you think it was going to be something else?
Look, and from the top of my head, I always thought it was Coco.
Okay.
I always thought it was Coco. Even if they said that it was there was a compass because they were saying, "Oh, it's Pocahontas." Oh, sorry,
Pocahontas.
y'all, it's all
Yeah.
Pocahontas. And then I was like, I had that doubt, and I was like, uh, I mean, I was like, I was still hoping that it was still Coco because I was like, I mean, how can the musical notes be connected with Coco? I mean, with Pocahontas. I mean,
Right.
and then I'm like, and then when more out of the more when more leaks came out, and then it was pointing to the Mexico Pavilion at Epcot, then I was like, yeah, there's no doubt this is Coco. Sorry, Pocahontas fans. Yeah. So I was like, so it was like, um, yeah, it was like I was still debating if it was that or not,
Yeah.
and it turns out that it was Coco. So
Yep.
I'm actually happy that it was Coco because it turns out to be the event that I've been wanting because it actually goes well with Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that something you personally celebrate?
Dia de los Muertos?
Yes.
No,
No.
not necessarily. No,
Okay.
but I heard good things about it though, and
Yeah. Absolutely.
there's like they do. It's like a cultural thing that they do, and
Yeah. No.
and
It's
and with seeing Coco, it actually develops more details about the celebration of what they do.
yeah.
They they do some celebrations with food and stuff to celebrate those who are dead, and then to reunite family and everything.
Yeah. No.
So that's how.
It's a very serious holiday, or
Yeah, it
a
is.
celebration or whatever you want to call it. It's very serious and really very culturally amazing.
Okay.
And Coco really shed some light on it in a really awesome way. So, all right, let's talk about it. We do have Coco. If you have not seen the
Mhm.
movie, please go out and get it. Get a Blu-ray or a DVD or stream it or
Yeah,
whatever. But watch this movie and watch it before the event. If you can watch it tonight or tomorrow or
yeah,
something,
watch it.
watch it before the event because it's so good.
Yes, it's
Um,
such a good movie.
so good.
I always said that that one was probably one of the best Pixar films that Pixar has ever done, in my opinion. Aside from Toy Story and Incredibles and all those stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think this is one of those that are really
the
good.
animation and the colors, like when he first walks in to the underground and he just looks up and you can just see all the color. Like, it's just gorgeous,
It's amazing.
gorgeous movie. So anyway,
Yes, it is.
go see it. All right, new
It'll make you
characters
cry.
for the people. So I'm going to kind of make sure that I don't give any spoilers here when I say characters. So the new characters are Miguel, who is the main character of the movie. There is Abuelita. There is Dante. Dante will be for gems. Um, and Dante is the ever-loving sidekick. He will be a premium character. Then there's Mama Coco, who will also be a premium character. There's Mama Imelda, who will be in the game. There's Hector, who is a lot of fun and a real fun character. And then, of course, there's Ernesto de la Cruz, everyone's favorite or not so favorite musician. So super excited to have all of them in the into the game. What do you think about that list of lineup? Is there anyone you think should be in there or should not be in there? What do you think about that?
No, I think this roster is a pretty good list. I think they chose the characters they chose were really good. I sort of expected all these characters to be in the game also. The one I was kind of disappointed that didn't come in was Pepita. I kind of wanted that one.
Yeah,
I really wanted that character in there. I was like, oh man.
it's a good tower
But
challenge, Ed.
no, yeah, that's what I was saying. It could be a tower challenge add on later on,
Yeah,
which I would not mind.
I
I
think
would definitely.
yeah, I think that's the perfect cast of characters. I think they hit it on the head just right this time. We've had some issues in the past, or not issues. I've had some differences of opinions in the past with a couple of characters here and there. But I think they hit it right on the head. So this is a perfect list for this movie.
Yeah. I've always said it before the event even came in. I know that this would be a perfect e- event for around the Halloween season, and there are different celebrations. Clearly, we're not really celebrating Halloween. It's Dia de los Muertos that we're celebrating, and it's one of those holidays, like you said, it's very important. It's a very important holiday for the
Yes.
Mexican culture.
Yep. Okay, so those are the characters. Along with the characters, we have new attractions. We have 4 new attractions that are coming with this. The first one we have is
Yeah.
Land of the Dead. Then we have the Santa Cecilia Market Shop. We have the Rivera Family House, which is super cute with the shoe on it, where you can see Miguel's little secret hideaway.
Yeah.
And then the Music Celebration attraction, which is a premium attraction,
Oh, that one I'm so excited for the most.
yeah. So we've gotten a preview, an unofficial preview of these attractions, through a site that had like little previews of the animations for Facebook. It was like an advertising site, and they all look amazing.
Yes, they are.
But the animations and the colors. I mean, Daniel, what are your thoughts on these?
Well, like I said, the premium attraction is the one I'm excited for the most because, especially when I saw that the ad. I don't know if you saw the ad library, the where they saw your Miguel and Hector were dancing.
Yes, yes,
That was amazing.
yes.
I'm not kidding. I was like, I am not. I'm probably gonna. Well, with all I'm gonna do whatever I can to get that attraction because there's no doubt I'm getting that thing because that looks amazing. It's hard not to pass up on because it's one of those attractions that I can see why it's worth gems
Yeah.
because it looks very colorful. It's well decorated. It has a lot of details to it, actually.
So I agree. The details are amazing. Um, the animations are amazing. I mean, they keep getting better and better with designing the attractions.
Yeah.
Moana attractions were amazing.
Yeah.
The Nemo attractions were fun, but they're really really knocking it out of the park with
They're really stepping it up.
so whoever hired or is working in the art and animation department at Disney Magic Kingdoms should get a promotion or something.
They get a raise.
They've stepped up to another level. So
Yeah, they
congratulations to
did.
those guys. Um,
Yeah.
so so I have a bit of breaking news here. So we're gonna kind of just sway off this for 1 minute.
Hmm.
So going back to newcomer tip of the week, I think this is very important.
Yes.
In my Facebook group, in the show's Facebook group, excuse me,
Mhm.
there we were just having some chat, and one of our favorite people in the chat that's there, her name is Teal Avion, and Teal is a really, really huge contributor to the Disney Magic Kingdoms community, and basically is amazing. So she had always, for a long time, created these speculation posts. And these posts were basically write-ups of who previously were characters that would collect a currency for the events, as well as possibly characters that would collect tokens for the characters, and she's been really good. So she basically does it, and so she just came out with her guide. I asked her for a guide. She hadn't put one out, and she said, "Okay, fine, I'll put a guide together." So she just released it. It's on our website now. It's on the Facebook group, and in it is basically a list of characters and the tasks you should send them on. So that when the event begins, all these are ready to be collected, and you have a huge head start on EC and possibly tokens. So what I do is I take this guide, and the night before the event begins, so tomorrow night, I will go and I will send all of my characters out on these tasks, and then I will not touch my game until the event begins at rope drop the next day. And then when I do that, I typically start out with hundreds of EC, as well as many tokens that I need. So I highly, highly suggest go check it out. It's live right now. I just pinned it to the top as an announcement. Go check out the speculation post. It will give you a huge head start on the event.
Yeah, normally the teals are very. I have noticed that they have been quite helpful. The thing is, when I send these characters, what I kind of do is I try not to send them per se. What I do is I don't touch my game at all, like you say, and just send them on short quests. And then if I get a drop, I get a drop. But so that way when I know which characters will collect currency and which characters won't collect currency, and then after that I can send them on long quests or send them or another quest that they still need to collect tokens for other characters. That's what I mainly do.
See, but if you follow her guide, right, then
Yeah.
then you have a really good probability of, you just leave them so that at 11, by my time, you just collect everything and you have that good shot.
Right.
So I think it's a good way to do it. Follow her post, do it however you want to do it, but go check that out now. Huge stuff.
Yeah.
It really gives you a head start in the game. So go check that out.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to the stuff we're talking about. So now we have concessions. There are 2 new concession stands that are really cool looking. The first one is the ceramic hot chocolate stand, and the second one is Ernesto's hat stand. But there's a little twist to how you earn your concessions this go around. Daniel, how do we earn the concessions?
In the chat and the concession chests.
Concession chests. That's right.
Yeah. And that's actually a bit of a surprise. Actually, I thought it was a surprise actually, because usually these concessions don't come out until the event begins, and they're usually in the magical, radiant, and ruby chests.
Right.
Many in those, which I assume they will be in those chests.
Yes.
I assume they will be in those chests because even if they're in the regular chest, I do think they will be in there. Some already got it, by the way.
Yep, a lot of people have gotten them right, so they are available right now.
Yeah,
you can get them in concession chests. You can even go ahead and purchase the chests in the gem shop. If you want to spend the gems, and you have a shot at getting them now. The ceramic hot chocolate stand is epic, as far as rarity goes. And Ernesto's hat stand is uncommon. So I think you have it says 15% chance for the hat stand, and I think it's like a 5% chance for the hot chocolate stand.
Yeah. No, I tried it with gems and I didn't get it.
Yeah.
I tried it, but I didn't get anything.
Yeah, that's all right.
But they limit me with what I could get. I don't like that. They just limit me, but it's fine though. I don't have to wait because I don't have to waste gems in.
So they're available now. I mean, I don't know. I really liked being able to get chests. I'm sorry, all the things in the game, as far as concessions, decorations, that were specifically tied to an event in the event without having to go to chests. When they first moved some other things to chests, I wasn't too happy about it because I just wanted to be able to collect things. Where they put them in the magical chests and the ruby chests, and I don't know. I just have terrible luck with chests. There's probably people out there like, oh, no problem for me. I get them every time. But I just have terrible luck. It all started with the Princess and the Frog and that green cream soda stand that I will never get. But
it's ironic because I actually didn't struggle getting that one. I actually got that like on the third try or something like that.
Everyone else did. It's just my luck. So
No, the one that I had a hard time with was the Nemo concession. That one I had a hard time with. I had terrible luck on that one. I kept trying and trying and trying, and the special reward never came out. And when it did, guess what? It came out. The Dory concession. The Dory concession. But eventually, I did get the Nemo. It was a pain in the butt, though, getting it.
yeah, I got one of them. I didn't get both. So, but yeah. So anyway, that's what it is. New concession stands are out. They look awesome. Good luck opening your chests. You can get them just by randomly out in the kingdom. You can get them by purchasing them in the chest shop. Okay, there are new decorations that are going along with this event. There is the musical note bush. So it basically is just like a bunch of flowers in the shape of a musical note. There is the Ernesto de la Cruz statue, which is really cool looking. That they had that in the movie, right? In the middle of
Yeah,
town.
yeah.
Or was that in the it's been a while. Was that in the place where his guitar was?
I believe so. Yes. I
Yeah,
think it was in that
that's where I
area.
think the statue was. But yeah, so they have that, and then it goes along with having statues because statues have become more important as far as thrill zones go. So it's good to have more statues and
Yeah.
stuff. They take up more space, but they're required. And
If
then
you choose to use it.
right, but if you want to meet
You
the
choose to
satisfy
use
the
it.
conditions of a thrill zone.
Yeah.
And then of course there's the Coco Gold Trophy, which is his guitar, right? I don't have the picture in front of me. It's his
The
guitar.
gold trophy is the guitar,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, the Ernesto
It
de la
is.
Cruz guitar. So it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
That will be available via leaderboards as always. The other decorations, I assume they'll be in the chests,
The chest
the
pro.
magical
Yeah.
and ruby and whatever chests.
Yeah. It's radiant and magical chest.
Radiant, Magical, and Ruby, right? Those are the three.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So, yeah, so good luck getting the decorations and all that kind of stuff.
Yep. Uh, do you think that the statue of Ernesto is rare?
Um, I think, oh, that's a good question. I'm gonna say rare.
Rare?
I'm gonna say the note bush is uncommon and the statue is rare.
Yeah, I think so too.
That
Especially if they're gonna put the concession epic, unless they purposely put the concession with that statue.
Yeah, I don't know. The concessions just might not be in these chests. They might
Oh,
only
that
be in
was such a
concession
big deal.
chests. Because the way that they reacted, the way that Marc Andre and Julia reacted when they were mentioning this
Uh-huh.
was kind of like surprised, like, oh, this is the first time it's going to happen. So I don't know. We'll have to see, but they might not be in these. Like the only way you might be able to get them is in concession chests.
They're seriously sneaky. I'm serious. They are sneaky.
I hope though, if they're doing it this way, that they stay in concession chests even after the event ends.
Yeah, because even the other concessions like the Mickey Wishable stand,
Right.
the Mini Wishable stand, and even the Dumple concession was in there.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and you had that opportunity to get those.
yeah.
I heard you were having a hard time getting the Dumple concession.
Wow, you have a good memory.
Yeah,
I
I
don't even want to
remember.
talk about how much money I spent so my daughter would have that stupid concession stand. I don't even want to talk about it. It's disgusting. It's literally disgusting. I will never take it out of my park. But yeah,
Ouch.
so we'll move on. All right, so there's some changes to the game that are coming up now. There are some balance changes. So the balance changes that they wanted to talk about were to enchanted buildings, and we had touched on this a little bit, where the way that they design the events is so that you need a specific amount of relics to enchant the attractions. And when you enchant the attractions, they drop, obviously, stuff you need during the event. So they want to make it
Right.
very enticing for you to enchant the attractions. So it seems like they give you just enough opportunity between the free daily rewards and milestone rewards and things like that to get these chests and to get enough relics to do it. And so they do it very specifically with the numbers, right? So, but after the event ends, and they want to kind of make all of the attractions have similar amounts of relics and things you need, but that's a much bigger number. It's not this smaller number. So what you should expect in the future is, and with happening with Nemo and moving forward with all other event attractions, is that they're going to be changed eventually to kind of match the rest of all of the other attractions. So that's it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I think I agree because sometimes, like you said earlier, they rebalance the ears and all that stuff because they wanna make it fair for supposedly for all players, and but it does kind of suck in a way that they have to rebalance certain things, and especially if you spent the money for the to try to get Marlin, since there were epic tokens. And I noticed that they changed that too. Also,
What did they change?
the Martin tokens. Remember when you had to put the submarine voyage? I think it was like at level 2,
Right.
and now it doesn't drop them anymore,
Oh.
which is weird.
Huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they haven't dropped.
Yeah.
They've been dropping like the other common tokens, like Bruce, for example, or Squirt.
Yeah. Huh. Well, anyway, they're doing it. This is what they're doing. They're doing these attraction enchantments. So it is what it is. So I guess we'll just deal with it.
Yeah,
It's no
I
big
guess
deal.
so. Yeah.
I think it makes sense. So I'm fine with it. All
Yeah.
right. So if you've logged into your game since you updated the game, you will have gotten a notice that you have a whole bunch of gems and magic. That is because for a while they've been talking about the chest vault now being removed. The chest vault, of course, is the bank that was on Main Street where you had your 3 pedestals that you could purchase and spend gems in order to unlock them to put magic to put your chests on them so that they would take time to open. They no longer have been using that for a while. It's just instant open on your chests. There also were slots at the bottom where you could store chests that cost magic. So this has gone away, and they are fully reimbursing everyone for every penny that they invested in gems or in potions. So I got a nice, I think it was like 185 gems and like 11,000 magic, I believe. It was a nice big chunk of gems and change. Let me see. I took a picture of it here. Yeah, it was 185 gems and 61,000 magic. So that is a nice little bit. So they gave us all that back. Any chests that you had that were sitting down in the waiting area were automatically opened as soon as you logged in today. Also, they were not letting you hold on to those anymore. So if you were holding on to platinum or gold chests or anything cool like that, they were opened today. So that is gone. It has been changed. So now every day you get 1 free bronze chest. When you click on it, you will get a pedestal and you get 1 free bronze chest. Hey, that's nice, right?
Yeah, it's nice actually.
So also, you will also be able to watch an ad for another bronze chest. So instead of going around the kingdom and
Clicking on the thing.
clicking on the things, right? And then after you click on a bronze chest, it then will pop up and say, hey, do you want to watch an ad? It will not do that anymore.
Yeah.
You will no longer get that pop-up to watch an ad for chests. It will still happen for the happiness after you finish a parade, but for chests it will no longer happen. You'll be able to watch the ad in the the bank vault area, and that is going to be right next to your free concession, your free bronze chest. That free bronze chest does not count. It is just a free chest. It's not going to affect your drop rates for
Nah.
chests. So you're still going to keep getting the same amount of chests in your kingdom. You're also just getting a free bonus one every day and a free ad one every day as well. So for me, I'm sorry. So were you going to say something, Daniel? Go ahead.
Oh, and I was gonna say that I've noticed that it was the bronze chest. I've been noticing there was a little more on this update.
I,
I don't know if you've noticed that.
I feel like the last few weeks it's been going a little bit faster.
Yeah, I've been noticing they were giving more this
I
time.
hope so. I felt like, again, this is DMK doing stuff behind the scenes that we don't know about as
Yeah.
far as tweaking things. But I definitely feel like when they first made the change, like it was really, really slow. Like I was getting like one a day.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very slow.
And so hopefully they're tweaking things on the back end and to get that right amount.
Hmm.
But anyway, I think this is great. One of the things I was doing was not opening chests. Like I was trying as a strategy, trying to save them so that I would be able to always be able to get that video ad,
Hmm.
with my bronze chest. So now I don't have to worry about that. I find a chest in the kingdom, I can tap on it. I don't need to worry about the free, the ad to watch it. So that's nice.
Yeah, it is nice.
Nothing but a good change there. So
Hmm.
everyone's happy with that.
It's funny that you mentioned the pedestal is gone already. There's certain people that miss it actually. That they enjoy having their concessions all in the pedestal, and you would have to say because like say for example, who was it? Oh yeah, it was a Disney girl. She said she would miss the pedestals. She's gonna miss it. She says.
Why though? I don't understand why.
I don't know either, but she says she misses it. To, I guess,
Yeah, I don't
how it's
know.
presented.
Yeah,
But
it is what it is. Um,
yeah, this is for me too.
I don't miss it. I don't like this. I don't like sitting
Nah,
there and having to like wait for hours
nah.
to open chests. What I will say is you
Yeah.
got a lot more chests back then. I feel like the drop rate for them was a lot higher, but
Yeah,
waiting 24 hours to open a chest kind of stunk. Um,
yeah. I didn't like that.
yeah.
I didn't like that. I had to wait 24 hours for that thing, because I think another game that I play, it's Looney Tunes World of Mayhem, and and they use chess also. They also use chess, but their chess system is much different from DMK. Unlike DMK, you get a chest, but you steal crates from other people.
Huh.
And you steal crates from other people, and then you hold on to them. But they could steal your chest, and
That's
I
it.
don't like that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but you could always have revenge and go after their concessions. It's so funny how it's, I mean, not concession, I mean chess, but it's interesting how other games implement chess like DMK does
Yeah.
because it's different.
All right, so
But
moving along. So
mhm.
other things in this patch, more stuff is enchantable. So Dumbo attractions, Wreck It Ralph, Alice in Wonderland, Nightmare Before Christmas, and Ducktales. All of
Mhm.
these are now enchantable. Coco will be as well as soon as you get them. So a lot more stuff to enchant, which means that there's going to just be more and more of those little icons all over your screen. They need to get rid of those.
Oh my
You
god.
need to be able to turn it off. It really is such a terrible eyesore. Um,
Yeah.
I
Oh, when you're going to run your instructions, you mean?
no, I mean I don't have like you have lots of attractions, right? That
Yeah.
aren't that you're not like enchanting.
That are ready to enchant, right?
So they have the little icon above them that just sits there, right?
Oh, the little Mickey icon, you mean?
Right, that you accidentally click 500 times as you're trying to go in the game.
Yeah, it's a little annoying,
A little.
especially when you're trying. Yeah, it's because well, I could even imagine how would it would look like if every single attraction was enchanted. Imagine that.
So look at this. I'm gonna show my screen here, right?
Yeah. Yep. That's
I,
exactly how mine look like just
it's
like that.
such an eyesore to see all of those things around because it takes your focus away from the attractions themselves,
Yeah.
and I click on them all the time, so the flow of the game is interrupted
Yeah. Yeah.
because I'm consistently clicking on these things that I don't want to click on, and then I have to X out of them,
Yeah.
and it's really I mean an eyesore. Who wants to see all these things bouncing around? And like it's all over the place. Like it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Who wants to see? Well, a lot of stuff has stuff, but the point is that they're everywhere,
Yeah. 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 I
and
get what you're saying.
now it's going to be even worse. Um,
Hey, that's a feature report.
I've done this feature report every week since this came out. Here's some feature report. Here it is for you. Um, there needs to be a toggle button or something.
Yeah.
It's just not okay. Um,
What they should do, so that way they won't click on it. What we should do is this: remove the bubbles, like you say, so it won't look like an eyesore, like you say. And if you click on it, if you choose to click on it, you'll have that option if you want to enchant it or not.
yeah,
And that way, you don't have to worry about clicking to the thing.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
Wow, there you go, Daniel Guizar,
problem problem
designer.
solved.
But no, seriously, I,
There
I,
you go.
I feel like I'm being whiny and a little complainy this episode, and I really don't want to be.
Yeah.
But this is just an issue that just really is. It affects my enjoyment of the game. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
moving on. Another thing that we talked about. So it was very interesting. The last patch, we had noticed that, or actually 2 patches ago, I guess, we had noticed that that Princess and the Frog were the ones that were dropping gold trophies, and that seemed a little strange.
Yeah, good.
I did get confirmation from Disney Magic Kingdoms that this was going to be a rotating type of situation, and I reported that out. It was breaking news. So here we go. Now the Princess and Frog attractions and characters will no longer drop gold trophies. In the meantime, it will be Alice in Wonderland characters and attractions.
And Coco.
Yes, and Coco. But the back IP is changing, so now it will be Alice in Wonderland. So I assume that will just be until the next event, and then they'll probably rotate it out with another IP again.
I think it's interesting how they're doing it, actually, because they're trying to change it up a bit to make things, I guess, interesting and not so repetitive with the characters. I think that's why I think over the newer players, for those that don't, the ones that only have in those other type of characters, the ones that do drop trophies,
Right.
and they're like, and I mean, for older players like us, it might not be so bad, but for other players like that are new and recent, it's kind of unfair for them, and I feel bad because they haven't been around during those events.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. I'm not going to go much more into it. I don't want to be too negative, so I'll just say I agree. I like that they're rotating, but I think that new players are really at a huge disadvantage. So, all right, all right. Finally, one other piece of news: the Bride from the Haunted Mansion is now in the game. So I didn't even look at the Bride. Can you get the Bride right now? How?
In there. She's all the way in the bottom of Finding Nemo. Just scroll all the way down,
All the
and
way
you'll
down.
find it there. Yeah, scroll. Oh, she's all in the bottom, way down.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So Haunted Mansion was 0 of 1.
yeah,
There's the Bride. This limited time content is not currently available.
yeah. I saw it there. You
So
know what? It's interesting that people already speculated, and they didn't even say anything. Mark Andre and Julia weren't gonna say anything, but I think it was. Oh, Michael was the one that caught it. Michael caught it, and he said that it was the bride. And then when I looked at the concessions and everything, that's when I saw. I was like, ah, it is the bride because the axe
yep.
where she where
And the
that
H was a giveaway too.
yeah, exactly. There was a Haunted Mansion uh logo.
Yeah. I think it's awesome. I think it's a cool addition to the game. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I think it's cool to have characters from like attractions and like staple kind of
Yeah.
Disney characters that are not necessarily from a movie
From from the
in the
movie.
game.
Uh-huh.
So that opens.
Although technically the Haunted Mansion was a movie with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, well, we all want to forget that.
It wasn't that bad. It
So
wasn't that bad.
so anyway, there we go.
Yeah,
So we'll see when the bride comes out. Probably it's later, toward the end of the month. There'll be
yeah.
something to get the bride.
I
Um,
hope that they do add other characters like the hitchhiking ghost.
yeah, that's cute. I like them.
Yeah.
And the ones that dance around the tables.
Or the one that crosses the tightrope. Daisy the well, I call her Daisy de la Cruz. It might be some other name, but that's how I name her as Daisy de la Cruz.
Okay.
but but she looks interesting too, actually.
All right. Well, let's move on because we got to keep it moving here. The show is
All
running
right.
long because there's so much to talk about.
Yeah.
So let's let's talk about the event of the week. I guess we should have put this before all the content, so it's a little kind of mixed up in order. But the event of the week. So the event of the week were a couple of events of the week. There was actually the first event of the week was a Princess and the Frog Gold Trophy event. So you were able to earn another Princess and the Frog Gold Trophy. So yay for that. But that wasn't what
Hmm.
everyone was talking about. The big one was for Rapunzel's comfy costume.
Hmm.
So Marc Andre and Julia had mentioned in the previous, in the Tower Challenge live stream, that after the Tower Challenge was over, there was going to be tapper events, they call them, that were going to be how you earned Rapunzel's comfy costume.
Yeah.
It was very interesting the way they did it. They split her comfy fabric over 3 different events.
Hmm.
2 of the events ran at the same time. They were concurrent. A lot of people didn't even realize there was 2 going on at the same time for a little bit.
Yeah. Hmm.
And then a third event began when one ended, and then you had to have all 3 complete, and then you were able to welcome the comfy costume. And you only had 1 day to do it, so you had to be on
Hmm.
the ball. The events lasted a couple of days, so let's talk about them real quick. And I'm not going to go too deep into them. So the first one was frogs. It's a mini event where your kingdom has been invaded by frogs. So basically what you needed to do was collect stuff. So this is like, the crabs, except they're frogs. This is the first time they've used frogs. It started on the
Hmm.
8th of October and ended on the 14th. It was a 6-day event. The frogs were able to be captured by Mickey, Peekly, and Rapunzel. It was very much a Lilo and Stitch based type of event,
Yeah.
where they were able to collect the stuff you needed. So you needed nets, and what was the other thing? It was nets and containers, critter containers.
Containers. Yeah, it was a container.
Yeah, so when you collected those, once you had two of each, you were able to go over, send someone, and collect capture the frog.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's like a battle bot slash whatever type of event, collecting the crabs. So anyway, if you got, so the interesting thing about this event was that if you did not have Rapunzel, then
Mm-hmm.
the leaderboard, I'm sorry, the milestone, the very first milestone for just one, for 5 frogs is Rapunzel. So people were able to get Rapunzel if they didn't have her. So that's awesome.
That's great.
For
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So if you did not have Rapunzel, or sorry, if you already had Rapunzel, then you would get a legendary chest for Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah.
Then the other milestones were at 15, 2 comfy fabric. At
Mm-hmm.
25, you got 20 gems, and at 40, 3 comfy fabric. So you were able to earn a total of 5 of the 10 comfy fabrics by milestone rewards for
Mm-hmm.
capturing frogs. And you had plenty of time to do it. You had 6 days, 40 frogs. Um,
Yeah.
the time to collect was very, very easy. They were
Yeah.
all uncommon. So it was, easy. This mini event was easy to be handled. There also were was a leaderboard for it as well, where you were able to get attraction enchantment chests, epic
Yeah.
blueprints, common blueprints. So it was just some icing on the cake for the event. So what did you think of the frogs?
It was pretty simple. It was a pretty easy it was a pretty easy mini event. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Even if I don't like collecting those tokens and cash, but whatever it was a frog or a bot, which we'll get to in a moment.
Yes.
And, but the thing is, I did notice that Preakly was 10 seconds and Mickey and Rapunzel were an hour.
Yep.
So pretty much, if you have Preakly, he was the saving grace.
Yes. He he made a
He
huge
was the saving.
he made a huge difference.
Yes, a huge difference.
Yeah, and of course the Lilo and Stitch characters made a huge difference. So if
Yep.
I guess looking at it as someone who has all the Lilo and Stitch characters, I can say it's easy. For people who do not have those characters, I could see it being
Yeah.
much more difficult.
Yeah. So it's like what I said from the tip of the week. Doesn't matter what they are, get your characters.
Yep.
Doesn't
Um,
matter. You
okay.
never know when they'll be used.
So that was the first of the 3 events. At the same time
Yeah.
that the frogs started, you had a Wish Granter mini event. The Wish Granter event, this was the 37th time they've done Wish Granter. It started on the 8th of October and ended on the 12th of October, so it was 4 days long.
Hmm.
The milestones, so you got 3 bronze chests at 6, 6 critter net tokens at 12, 6 critter containers at 24, and then the 2 comfy fabrics at 48. So, wishes spawn pretty quickly. You can have up to 6 at a time. They spawn rather quickly. You had 4 days to do it. So I don't think 48 wishes in 4 days was too out of
No.
the out of difficulty range. Just as long as you're just checking your phone and or your device is every couple
Yeah.
hours.
Take your option. Hmm.
So this is 2. So this is a total of 7 fabric that you would have. Also, there were some leaderboard rewards as well, which was basically it was just uncommon blueprint tokens and then critter containers and nets. So, yeah, what wishes? Anything to say about them?
Um. Well, really, the boyfriend event is my least favorite. I'd rather do the striking gold one, in my opinion. I like those better. I don't know why, but I just do. But I did. But regardless, I still did well on the wish granter
Yeah.
because they don't come out as often for me, for some odd reason. But in this one, actually, they do come up pretty often, actually. which was great because I needed those fabrics anyways. So, and the thing is, like you said, you have to log in often in your game to see if they would appear or not.
Yeah. All right. Well, so you had 7 fabric, and now it was time to get the last one. So once the critters ended, or sorry, the wishing ended. BattleBots 3,
Oh,
everyone's favorite BattleBots. The BattleBots came back, and so
uh,
this was an interesting twist. So you needed to get a milestone reward, and you needed to get on the leaderboard in order to get the final 3 fabric. However, the comfy Rapunzel fabric token was just one. You just needed one BattleBot, so it wasn't too terrible to get
yeah.
that one BattleBot. Then there was a concessions chest at milestone 4. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then you had to just get in the top 7,500 to get the Rapunzel fabric. So that was pretty obtainable for anyone that really wanted it. Um,
Yeah.
so you didn't have to work very hard if you really wanted those last 2 tokens. You just had to just go in and just pretend you were
Yeah.
playing the activity. They
Yeah.
made it. They made the gaming remote tokens super simple to get. They're just 60-second drops, and then the visors were super easy to get if you had the Incredibles because they were all 1 hour.
Yeah.
So they made the tokens easy to get. Uh,
Yeah.
this is really
So,
the first battle bots that was not BattleBot like. Um,
yeah.
so
I was glad it wasn't because that was a pain in the butt behind me.
yeah,
And
so
to top it, oh, and then you also noticed that if you didn't have the Incredibles, the characters like Goofy and Mickey, they would be to get the visors. You would need to send them for 12 hours,
yeah,
and Woody was like 6 hours.
yep,
Ouch.
yeah, they were. It was rough, but
Yeah.
that being said, you just needed to be in the top 7,500. So
Yeah.
if you
Exactly.
if you even just remotely wanted this, and you put a little bit of effort in, it was easy
Yeah.
enough to obtain if you had gotten the other
Yeah.
pieces.
Exactly.
So
Mm-hmm. No, and to top it off, what was it called? The what was I gonna say? I forgot what I was gonna say. Never mind.
okay, no
Never mind.
problem.
Never mind. Never mind. I forgot.
Okay, so that wraps it up for the event. So I assume you got the Rapunzel's comfy costume.
Yep.
Yeah,
And she's eating donuts.
yeah, she's eating
I
donuts.
don't understand why she's eating donuts, but she's eating donuts.
I wish
Oh,
that I wish that I could get a donut.
and
That would be
uh,
awesome.
you know, to add on the comfy Rapunzel, if you have if you have her costume, she can go for 4 hours to collect Pascal's ears token.
Yes, big
Mhm.
benefit.
Yep. So if you have her, take advantage of that because that's 4 hours right there, as opposed to 8 hours for her doing it without the.
Yes, awesome, and it
Mhm.
looks cool. It's a cool costume.
Yeah, it does
So,
actually. It's
uh,
just a hoodie type. It's a hoodie comfy.
all right. So that's it for that. So we've covered basically all of the news and stuff. There was a lot to go over this week,
Hmm.
but I'm glad that we were able to push through it. So all right, so let's see. What do we got here? All right, so we're gonna move on into the Disney dad jokes of the week. All right, so we have a special. I have a dad joke coming, but Daniel has a special Halloween joke that he'd like to share with everyone. So Daniel, take it away.
Okay. Uh, what do you call a pile of cats?
Pile of cats. I don't know what.
A mountain.
Meowton. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that, Daniel. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Those are it was more common actually now that I think about it because I found because they've been saying it a lot on YouTube because I think it was on YouTube. I don't know if you heard of her. Her name is Fatima. She does the YouTube videos for Disneyland, and she would give a lot of jokes to certain characters.
Oh, very cool. Does she
She
do Disney
she
Magic
would
Kingdoms or just Disney?
no, just on Disney. I think it's just Disneyland. I think she does.
Okay.
But she's awesome though. She does really well with interview. She interviews the characters actually, which is kind of cool actually.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right. I have a joke for you.
All right. But it should we?
What sport does Prince Naveen play when he's a frog?
I don't know.
Croquet.
Do you play croquet?
Croquet.
Why, yes, Your Majesty.
Oh boy. All right, we're both fired.
Actually, I got that from Alice actually.
All right. Well, we have a long show running today. We're already at an hour and a half, over an hour and a half. So we're gonna skip over. Is it worth it this week? If you have a request for who is it worth it for next week, please let us know in a tweet or on our Facebook group. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a suggestion, maybe we'll do your suggestion for Is It Worth It next week. All right, we just have one quick feature report we're going to do from Daniel. Daniel, why don't you bring your feature report up?
Okay, so this feature report is more like, I think, this is something that I've been wanting for quite some time, and that is being able to rotate the park at different angles. Like, for example, if you're looking at a building, it would have been nice if we could rotate the park and see it from a back side of it, or angle it in a different direction, kind of like in Roller Coaster Tycoon. In Roller Coaster Tycoon, you could do all those things, and I wish they could implement certain things like that in DMK. They were just minor things, but I wish they would add them into those type of games.
I don't think it's a minor thing at all. I think it's a huge thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be so cool to be able to rotate your park around, look at it from different angles, really have like a three-dimensional feel to it.
Yeah.
I would love that. I think that it would be really cool for events like the frogs and battle bots where they're just kind of hiding behind buildings a lot. So it'd be cool to be able to turn your thing and kind of look down alleys and rather than like sitting there and throwing the brightness as high as you can and getting sun glare from your screen trying to find them.
You know what I also noticed also? When you look at the princess dressing room, like say you have it straight like this, I noticed that you can't even see Snow White, unfortunately, because her head is like this. I was like, no, why do you have to block your head? I can't even see. I can't even see her little singing because she does her singing, and I'm like, I can't even rotate it because it's so annoying. And I was like, oh man. Unless you rotate it in a different angle, the princess dressing room, maybe you might have a chance of seeing her head and everything. But you only see her from the back, and I'm like,
I love it. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
I think that it's been brought up that when I've talked about this to other people and we've talked about it before, it's that the way that it's drawn and designed is probably two-dimensional. So probably to get that feature in would be a complete overhaul of the game. So I don't expect it. But it would be awesome.
No, because it's funny that you mentioned it because when even in DMK I've noticed that sometimes when you know how they showed the park layouts for the thing of the month, the park, they would do rotation at different angles, and I'm like, if they could do that, why couldn't they just do it in the actual game?
Huh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
And I wish they would do that. Oh, you know what? You forgot something. You forgot the feature report.
Oh, I forgot to sing.
You forgot that part.
Feature report. Feature report. Feature report.
There you go.
It's been a long night. It's been a long week. Yeah. How could I forget singing? Thank you for reminding me, because that would have been the worst thing ever. But all right, cool. So thank you very much for that idea, Daniel. We'd love to hear from you. If you have feature reports, please go ahead and hit us up on our social media at ATK Podcast, on Twitter and at Facebook. And also you can write into the show. It's aroundthekingdompodcast at gmail.com. All right, so that's going to do it for the main part of the show. We have 6 new 5-star ratings. Thank you so much to the people who've given us 5-star ratings. Thank you so much. And then we also have 3 new reviews. So thank you so much to these people. I'm going to read them right now. So let's see. Good show. So from Frozen, from Frozen 777, very enjoyable show, fun to watch or listen to, informative, and the segments are fun. Okay, actually, I have a 3-star review, so let's see what that is. Okay, I'll read this on the show. It says, this is a really nice podcast. I started the game around the time the host did, so it's been great to follow along. My only criticism is that if you're asking for sponsors through Patreon, I feel you need to edit the technical difficulties and awkward poses out of the program. I know the money covers podcast costs and is used for giveaways, which is great, but having Patreon contests and even a section for show news in the program is at odds with the unedited recording. That's a very that's from Sarah, and you know what, Sarah, you have some good points. There are definitely technical difficulties that happen through the show. Sound quality sometimes happens. Last episode, the sound was actually really bad, and I do apologize for that. I'm trying to work on figuring out and getting some of that stuff done. But I will say that editing the show and doing that type of stuff takes a lot of time. And really the point of Patreon that I have so far was to cover the costs, because it does actually cost quite a bit to have hosting and all that stuff for podcasting, if you want some of that stuff that you need. Additionally, I like to do giveaways, which is where the Patreon money goes. And also I'm trying to get like a soundboard, so it'll be nice. But it takes a lot of time. I don't know how much time I'm going to have to start editing the show. This is a very professional show. So that's what I'll say. I'm not, I'm a full-time dad. I'm full-time, I have a full-time job, and I do this for fun. So I will try to get better, and I'm working every day and working harder to try to make the show better. And I take your constructive criticism, and I respect it. What I'll say is I'm going to try my best to keep working through and try to improve the sound quality without having to do additional editing when the show's over. It's just a lot of work. But if you, Sarah, would like to become an editor and help edit the show, we can talk. All right. Enough of that. One more. 5-star says, I enjoy the show very much. This is from K Camps 92. I enjoy the show very much after discovering it earlier this year. I most definitely look forward to new episodes every week. Great show that goes over current events, kingdom updates, tips, strategies, new characters, and more. Keep it coming. It's a huge help when playing DMK. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you taking the time to write a review and to write, positive or negative. It is what it is. All right. So that is, I think, it for this week. If you want to be more involved with the show, you can follow us on Twitter at ATK Podcast and like our Facebook page at facebook.com/ATK Podcast. Here you'll find out before anyone else about any breaking news that we hear, information on contests and giveaways, and in my ramblings and photos from day-to-day playing. The show's Facebook group is up, and it's a great way to easily interact with me and other fans of the show to talk about our favorite game. The link will be in the show notes and can also be found on the show's main Facebook page. Also, you can write into the show. Our email address is aroundthekingdompodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you think about the show, what's working, what's terrible, or any other topic you want to write in about. or even if you just want to say hi. We're now on YouTube. If you want to watch the show and see me and my awesome guests, please head on over, subscribe to our channel, like the video, and smash the bell to get notified when a new show goes live. The link to our channel will be in the show notes. And also, don't forget to join our Discord channel to chat with us. If you want to help support the show, please head on over to iTunes, subscribe to the podcast, and leave us a 5-star review. Doing this is quick and easy, costs you nothing, and helps us greatly to be seen by other people so they can enjoy the show also. All 5-star reviews and 3-star reviews will be read at the end of each episode. Listening to the show is all we could really ask for, but if you do want to help support us in another way, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/aroundthekingdom. We have a goal of getting 2 more Patreons to our show this month. Hopefully we could get there. You could be the person that helps us, and maybe even Sarah can be the person that helps gets us there. I think she'd like to be our next Patreon. All Patreons will get a special shout out at the beginning of each episode. Again, it's patreon.com/aroundthekingdom. The link will be in the show notes. Thanks for joining us this week for the most unprofessional professional podcast for Disney Magic Kingdoms that's out there. I am Steve Squirrel. For myself and Daniel, we hope you have a great night. Good luck in the Coco event, and we will see you around the kingdom next week.
Bye, guys. See you later.